All right, guys, good morning. So, we're going to look at working with strings in Kotlin. So, in the previous video, we looked at how to work with numbers and numerical data. In this session, we're going to look at strings. So, we have the main activity.kt file as usual, but we are not going to be using this to run our application. We can create an independent or standalone Kotlin file that we can put our raw Kotlin codes and also test our Kotlin codes. Okay, so to do that, we click on this particular folder because we want it to be inside this folder, not the UI team folder. Right? The UI team folder contains uh, related code that has to do with color, data types, and the likes, the themes. But we don't want it to be inside. We want it to be inside this main com.example.my test app. This my test app corresponds to the name of the app application. So we want it to be here, just beside this main activity.kt file. So we right click on it, go to new, select Kotlin class of file, then the name of the file. So let's call this strings, raw strings, because there's a file called strings, raw strings.kt. So select file because we want it to be a Kotlin file, not just a Kotlin class. And then click on OK. So we have the file, the file, the module right beside the main activity.kt. So the very first thing we want to do is to create the main function as usual, curve braces and curly braces. So now to create a string in Kotlin, we do that by creating a simple variable, right? So let's call this variable name, and it's going to be a string. So that's how we. If you watched the previous video, I explained how to create a variable and what this stands for. This is the type. We are telling Kotlin that whatever what we are going to store in this variable called name is going to be a string. So if I come here, type a number, for example, it's going to flag an error because this does not correspond to a string unless I'm putting it inside quotation. So this becomes a numerical string. It's a number, but it's a string because it's within a curve, is within this quotation, right? Or yes, or inverted, what they call inverted comma, the quotation actually. So now that's how to create a. So let's say the name is Leto David. So that's the name. So I've already now Kotlin has a way of inferring, just like I explained in the previous video, that I don't need to do this, right? All I need to do is I can just create the folder without defining the data type that will be stored in that variable, right? So Kotlin will automatically infer that this is a string variable. Right? So if I hover, you can see that his name is a string, but it's storing a string. Right? So I don't need to specify. Okay, so that's just how to. So I can print this name, print line. Let's use print line name. So now to run it, just click on either this or this. So click on this, run. Then the results should be displayed in the terminal. So let's quickly see what is going on. Okay, I'm guessing because I'm not connected to the internet. It doesn't need internet, so right, so we have our results here. Um, so let's just take this a step further. So one thing about strings is that Kotlin, just like um, some other programming languages as well, treat strings as an array. Right? So that means just the same way we can loop through an array, we can also loop through a string. Now let me quickly explain what that means. So now we see this as a combination of different texts put together in a single data, in a single data collection. That's ETO space DAVID. So now the compiler actually sees this as an array, right? As a combination of different characters. So we can look through each of the characters, right? Or for example, we can pick out a particular character. An example is for okay, let me quickly. So to pick the first character, we use 0. Now the index starts at 0. Now you might want to think that this is the first value. This is index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Spacing is also included. Index 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But that's not how programming works. Programming starts at index 0. So this is 0 index or index 0. This is index 1, index 2, and list goes on. So if I want to target the first value, so the index of the first value is always 0. This is important that we take note of that. So I can quickly print this out. Print this out. And quickly print it out. And yep, it's going to display E in the terminal because E is the first index. Okay, so we have that. Um, okay, so let's quickly let me take the first one, the second one rather. That should be T. So I can actually use a for loop to loop through this and print each and every character on a separate line. Now we're going to, because I've not explained for loops, so I'll just um, leave that out for now. So what else? Okay, so we can also check for the length. Now there's what we call string. What's it called again? String methods. Right now, string methods are functions that we can use to manipulate string data. Right. An example is length. So, okay, let me quickly comment this out. Now, let's say we want to find the length of this text here that is stored in this name variable. We want to determine the length, and this is important when we're implementing features such as what's it called, authentication in our application. So it's important for us to know, though there are packages that help us carry or help us do that, right? But in the case where we want to write it or do it ourselves or write the code from scratch, we might there might be need for us to check for the length of a particular string or the how many characters are in that string, right? In the case where maybe you want to impose a restriction on how many characters the user is supposed to enter. So this allows us to check the length of the string or the how many characters are contained in that string. So we can just put name dot length. So when you use the dot operator, this dot is called dot operator, right? So you can see we have several methods that we can use. So there are quite a number of them. You don't need to look at each and every one of them. So we can just pick the important ones. So there's length. So length helps us to check the number of. So when I print this out, it's supposed to give this is 1, 2, 3, including the spacing. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are supposed to have 9 here. Print len line. Oh, let's just quickly put this guy inside. So that is what we should have. Let's just run this. Okay, so we have 9, right? All right. So there are other methods that we can use very well. We're not going to look at them. Yeah, just let's just look at some other vital concepts about strings. So now we can have, this is a single line string. We can have multi-line string. That's a string that has several lines. Right. Let's say you want to write a story, for example, or a large combination of texts, right? And you want to save everything instead of, now there are ways to do it. Now you can either create several variables. For example, you can say sentence one is equal to, sorry, forgotten I'm using Kotlin. Val sentence one is equals to, my name is David. Then sentence two, val sentence. I don't know why I'm using val today instead of var. Well, it's just my preference. I am 14 years old. Sentence three. Uh, my favorite my favorite club is Arsenal. Okay, so you can see three different texts now, but I don't need to do all of this, right? To make my code very simplified, I can put um, all of these text or strings in a singular variable. So just one variable can actually take all of this text. So let's say full sentence is equal to. So what I need to do now to create this multi-line string, let me quickly tag it. Multi, what am I doing? Multi-line strings. So I need three quotation marks, three at the start and three at the end. One, two, three. I can see Kotlin dynamically gives us the required number of quotation marks. So three at the start, three at the end. Now this dot trim index is automatically added by Kotlin. Now, what does it do? It takes away all the indentations, right? In the case, because while you're writing your code, you might impute some unnecessary indentation. So it actually trims all of those and takes it off. Make sure to ensure that your work looks very neat. So I can put this guy here. My okay. Instead of typing it to save time, let me just copy it. My name is Eto David. I am 14 years old. Favorite club is Arsenal. Okay, I can add an additional text. My favorite tourist center is Obudu. Obudu. Katu. What is spell Katu? Katu Ranch. Ranch. Okay, so now I can print this full statement. So this is where it starts and this is where it ends. The dot trim index is all. I can decide to take it off. It's not really compulsory, but it's just there to make our work neat. Right, you can see. So I can print line full sentence and then run it. Okay, so you can see. So it's there. So with the indentation, you can see the indentation is included here. So the dot trim indent will help us to take that indentation off. So let's quickly run it again. So it moves the text to the margin and ignores the indentation. You can see. So that's how to use multi-line strings, right? So this is a string method as well, right? So it is a string method. Now there are quite a number of string methods that we can use. We can say upper. We can there's the uppercase method. sentence, full sentence. Let me quickly comment this out. Full sentence, sentence dot uppercase. So, like I said initial before, once you use the dot operator, you are going to see all of the string methods. So let's use this lowercase and let's print it out. Let's print it out because if I run it without printing it out, it will not be displayed here. So let me quickly comment this guy. This, that's that number 9 that keeps showing. It's number 9. I'm trying to okay, name dot length. So that's 9. Okay, so let me print this guy out. Print line. All right. So you can see everything is lowercase. Now we can't really tell the difference because our code is written in lowercase. But if you look at this echo here, that's been the case has changed to from upper to lower. So I can quickly, in order for us to ascertain the changes made, can use uh, full sentence dot is a dot operator. Let's use uppercase. So to change everything to uppercase, we can comment this out and run our code again. Okay, you can see everything is in uppercase. So let me just quickly treat one more string method. Full statement dot. So everything is listed here. Uh, Lowercase. Okay, let me just use this one. Uh, Equals hello world. Now there's a message here. Replace with okay, it's telling us. So this just compares two strings, right? To know if they are equal. So it takes this guy, this full sentence, or let me remove the print statement first so that takes this full statement and compares it with whatever it is that you have included. And this yellow underline is just simply telling us that there's a better way to do it other than this. Right? So we can use the double equal sign as the comparison operators. If you remember where we treated numbers, that we can actually compare two numbers or two data types using the double equal sign. So that's what it's telling us here. So you can ignore it. It's not an error. It's just telling us that this is not the best. This doesn't follow the best practice principle. Yeah. So I've run it. Now it's supposed to return false. Okay, it's not returning anything yet because we have not added print statement. So it doesn't return anything. So let's quickly print, print line. So yeah, let's run it. And then we have okay, it returns false because they are not the same thing. Yeah. So but a better way to do it is to use this. And then we delete this. Sorry. Let's do it this way. Yeah. Is full statement equal to hello world? Of course it's not. Because full statement is oh what am I doing? Yeah. So you can see the yellow underline is off the screen. Okay, so we have false here as expected. So there's index that we can use to check the index of a value. Right. We want to check the index of this eto. We want to check the index, that's the position, right? What position does it occupy in the array of text? Now I said string is actually an array or collection of characters. So let's check full sentence. Or let me use a simple, instead of using full sentence, let me use the one that is simple. Let me use this sentence one. So we want to check if print sentence one dot index of, right, so let's say eto. So it's going to check the index. Okay, I did not print it out. Sorry about that. Print line. Print line. Yeah. So index 12. That means if you count from 0 to, you find eto. So that's just what it gives us. So moving forward, now let's look at what else. Okay, to create an empty string, I forgot about that. Now, to create an empty string, what we simply need to, because there are times that we need to create a variable, a string variable, but we make it empty so that the user or whatever algorithm that we are working with will be the one to determine what is stored in that variable. So, but in that case, this is how to create an empty string. So, the name of the string, let's just call it empty string. Uh, we so it's going to equate it with the string class. Yes, that's how to create an empty string. And since it's an empty string, I want to maybe eventually pass data to that string. So we make it a var instead. That means it's mutable. It can be changed. We can eventually put something inside empty string variable. So let's just quickly do that. So I can come down here and just say empty string is equal to hello world. So it's no longer empty. So if I put the print statement here, let me put print statement, print empty string. So in this case, since the compiler will start compiling from the top downwards, so when it gets to this stage, empty string is still empty. So it's going to display an empty. It's going to display nothing in the terminal. Then when we put the print statement here, when it gets to this second print statement, it's going to display hello world. So let me just quickly do that. So I'll deactivate all of this, comment on it. If there's any other print statements, okay, all of them are commented out. Okay, just this one. Let me comment this one out. Okay, so empty string. Okay, we have another message here. Variable is never modified. Okay, so can quickly ignore that. So nothing is displayed because it's empty. But let me remove this one. Let me comment this. So empty string now has a new value, hello world, and now we are printing it out on the screen. So you can see hello world is this way. So that's how to create an empty string. So let me quickly tag this. Create an empty string. Okay, so let's look at string concatenation. Now, it looks like a very big word, but it's simple. It means putting two strings together. String concat concat concatenation. And one thing about the using the Android Studio user interface is that it also gives you autocorrection. That's in the case where you have a typo or your spelling is wrong, it also gives you that correction. Apart from correcting your code when your code is wrong, it also corrects your vocabulary or use of words. And that's very interesting to know. Okay, so we have two strings. Okay, let me quickly bring these two guys here. Uh, these three guys. Let me cut them. Comment all of this, and let me paste them here as though we are starting afresh. So I want to put all this together. So I can say var over full sentence is equal to sentence one. So we use plus sign to concatenate string, that's to add them together. Plus sentence two plus sentence three. So that is it. So I can print full statement, full sentence rather. So you're going to see that everything will be lumped together. Okay, hello world. My name is Eto David. I'm 14 years old. My favorite. Now you can see that there's no spacing right after each of the sentence because there's no spacing here actually. Uh, in sentence one, my name is okay. It's because I added a spacing. So okay, you can see they are lumped together. Now I can quickly correct that by adding. So this is after. Now ignore this. The spacing after each variable does not really count. Right? It's just to make our work look neat, but the compiler doesn't regard it. So after sentence one, I want to put space. So what do? I need to add because spacing itself is a string, right? So you can see I've added another a space to it. So after sentence two, I can add. Uh, so there's a space after sentence two, and after sentence one. So that should work. Okay, you can see that results. Now we have this yellow underline. That means we are not doing it. Anytime you see the yellow underline, it means you are not doing it the way you should do it. So they are now asking us to convert to templates. So let me quickly explain that. So I'll leave this the way it is and then use the template mode. So this is template string. What do we call it now? Using templates in strings. Using templates. Okay. So template simply means we create a string variable and we now pass variables inside that same variable. Instead of using concatenation, instead of adding using this plus sign to add everything, you can just create a variable and then put everything inside. So that's what we call templates. So I can let me deactivate this. Uh, nice. Let's call it nice sentence. So this is how we do it. Now, lest I forget, for strings, in creating string, you can either use single quotes or double quotes, right? That means you can, I think the way to do it in Windows is to press the colon, the semicolon button. I mean, what's it called? Sorry, the quotation mark. Press it once, right? If you press it once without pressing the shift key, it's going to give you this single quote, which is also good. So, but I think it's recommended to use double quotes, right? Double quotes is recommend. So now the dollar sign. So we use dollar sign, right? When dealing with templates. So and then the name of the variable sentence. You can see is already showing us, giving us that option. Sentence one space. So this is the best way. So we don't need to use the plus sign. I don't need to add all the text together. It looks make our code look very as though it's done by an amateur. Right. So sentence two dollar sign. Sorry, sentence two space dollar sign sentence three. Sorry, sentence three. And the interesting thing is with this, we can add any variable type, whether it's a string or whether it's a number. For example, I can create a number age and call it age, an integer rather, and say 32. I can also pass this integer here. I can add full stop or put full stop here. He is he is age. Sorry, what he is age years old, right? So okay, it's showing me that I've commented this out. So let me print nice statement, nice sentence rather. So when I print it out, so this is what we call templates, using templates in Kotlin. That means we are creating a string variable and we are using this dollar sign to pass all of these variables inside sentence one, two, three, as many variables as possible. Right. So to reference a variable, all you need to do is use the dollar sign and then the name of the variable, and that's it. So you can see this is sentence one here. This is sentence two. I am 14 years old. Sentence three. My favorite club is Arsenal. He is age. That's 32. 32 years old. So that's it. So that's how to use template. Now you can see the autocorrect option here. That as in why that. So let's assume I want to, let's say I was doing this, I was using this method originally, and it gives me this yellow sign. I want to quickly correct it. So all I need to do is come, I just, once I put my cursor here, it brings out this string concatenation can be converted to a template. So they are telling us that this can be converted to this. So we quickly click on this convert. So and we have the same, you can see. So that's one of the beauty of using Kotlin. So um okay, another word for this is called interpolation or string interpolation, using templates or string interpolation. So that's another way of doing it. All right, I think that will be all about strings. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.